happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. At top of the morning, afternoon, when you be watching this, let me take the hat off here now that we're in church. And there you go. Hope I look okay. Hope I'm covering those bald spots. No. No. Anyway, put that away. Anyway, preparing for the fourth Sunday of Lent already. Hope you have a good Lent. Keep at it. A lot of times we may have different things we want to practice, and we don't always keep them as well as we like, 100%. And sometimes when that happens, we give up totally. Don't give up. Just pick yourself up, start again. I don't care if it's the day before Easter. Just keep at it, little by little. Whatever you do is better than nothing. Okay? So, we have a wonderful gospel, the healing of the blind man. But that's not the reading I'm going to choose today. I like to go to the first reading. For some reason, during the season of Lent, I've been more fascinated or drawn to the first readings. One reason, they're a lot shorter, a lot simpler. And so, ignore that noise. Anyway, sorry about that. Hey, I'm retaping here, please. Thank you. Let's get right there, so please, your patience. Reading from 1 Samuel, chapter 16. The Lord said to Samuel, fill your horn with oil and be on your way. I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem, for I have chosen my king from among his sons. And Jesse and his sons came to the sacrifice. Samuel looked at Eliab and thought, surely the Lord's anointed is here before him. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not judge from his appearance or from his lofty stature, because I have rejected him. Not as man sees does God see, because man sees the appearance, but the Lord looks into the heart. In the same way, Jesse presented his 7 sons before Samuel. But Samuel said to Jesse, the Lord has not chosen any one of these. Then Samuel asked Jesse, are these all the sons you have? Jesus replied, there is still the youngest who is tending the sheep. Samuel said to Jesse, well, send for him. We will not begin the sacrificial banquet until he arrives here. Jesse sent and had the young man brought to them. He was a youth, handsome to behold, making a splendid appearance. And the Lord said, there, anoint him, for this is the one. Then Samuel, with the horn of oil in hand, anointed David in the presence of his brothers. From that day on, the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David. The word of the Lord. God chooses whom God chooses, right? God sees. God has his own ways of doing things. We may not be the way that we would do it, or we think that's correct or right, but God does. But what's interesting, though, with David's father went through the different sons, and not this one, this one, and the point was, what's that pig? God, right? Surely, because the Lord said to Samuel, do not judge from his appearance or lofty stature, because I rejected him. And he goes on and says, because man sees his appearance, but the Lord looks into the heart. Okay, makes sense, looking into the heart. But when the David comes, what do they say? He was ruddy, a youth handsome to behold, and making a splendid appearance. And so we naturally do judge by people's appearance, by people's grade scores. I mean, it's the way we are. Now, my favorite part of priestly ministry, it would be that I get to preach. That's funny. That's something that, if you knew me growing up, that would be the last thing you think I would be comfortable doing. It's just the opposite. When I was a young man, young child, I was afraid to talk to anybody. I would go to the grocery store and I would take my brother with my little kid brother, 6 years younger than me. So if I couldn't find something, I was afraid to ask the guy who works there. I said, Ray, go ask him where the bread is, where the milk is, wherever it may be. I couldn't do it, wouldn't do it. Then also in grade school, I stuttered. Probably more out of nervous energy and wanting, get things out. And so I had a stuttering problem, which I think I just sort of outgrew as well. And I remember when I was ordained a priest, my sister said, not sort of negatively, said, well, because with the Salesians, they worked with youth. He said, well, he'll do fine with working with kids, being with kids, but how's he going to preach? As my sister said. And to tell you the truth, I thought the same thing. Yeah, how am I? Not that I put myself on a plateau, but as I said, one of the things that I probably enjoy most, but the most work into is the preaching. And so God has his ways. Because he was seeing me young, so well, he can't, he's not able to do that. That's not his gift, that's not his talent, but God, by the grace of God, it works out differently. And so we don't know. Going through the seminary, let me tell you about the seminary, you have these highly talented individuals. In that bell curve, it's almost unfair because there's no one, it's not the other side of the curve. Intelligence, musically, these guys are amazing, and even in their intelligence. But I have to say, and you would think then, well, they'd be superior, they would be going, they go places. But unfortunately, many of those same talented people, made the decision that this was not the way for them. This was not what God's calling them to. So they, left the seminary. Some even left the priesthood as well. And so the ones who remained and got ordained is people like, well, not the top of the list. Sometimes you look like, how did he, And that's how God works. So you never know. You never know if you have children or grandchildren, be careful. Don't put them in a box. One of the worst things we do today is how we judge and size people up when they're young, And this is the impression we give kids, that you are not good at this, you cannot do the, in grade school, your grades seem to be your your identification. That's who you are. Some people wake up later in life, all right? Well, different interests, they perk up. But unfortunately, kids will get labeled, even in their mind, that I'm not this, I cannot do that, and that's what they live with the rest of their life. And there are other children who do well, we label them being intelligent, and which probably are, and unfortunately, sometimes they think they can coast on that. While the ones who are, maybe not so designated, can surprise you. So be careful. Be careful how you judge. Be careful how we size people up, right? We never, never know. God's ways are not our ways. Amen.